Can you make Wuling 1.4 base? Okay, Wuling 1.4 full base. First, this is gonna be a long video, so here are the timestamps. If you are watching this on YouTube, the timestamps will be on the description. Anyways, let's get to the requirements first. The first requirement is to have at least level 21 region on Wuling. To do this, make sure to upgrade all the recycling stations, the depot node, the monitoring area, and as well as the outposts. Next, your ore yields must look something like this. So if your ore yields are lacking, make sure you look for them in the map. Make sure you have this one, as well as these ones in the Wuling city. There's also one here. And then be careful if you missed this one behind the hidden wall. That's all for the Wuling city. And then if you go to Marker Stone, there should be 2 spots. This one, as well as this one. For Jingyu Valley, there should be 4. The one near the start, the one over here at the top, the one below here, and the one on its right. Going to Qingbo Stockade, you have one over here with a lot of Cuprium, one below here. And then in Sword Vault Dale, there's also 2 locations, this one and this one. Then going back to test area, we have 2, one on the left over here and one on the right over here. Now on the new area here in North Wuling, we have 1 mine which is over here with also some Cuprium. And then of course make sure you've unlocked this area for the gas vent of Xiragen and the one up here, as well as this one. As for the Inergen, those we only need a few of, and each one, or rather each area has a Xiragen available to it, and that's about it for the spots. Now before starting this build, make sure you've finished building the Jingyu Valley build first, the one with 12 Xiranite using the gas dispersions, and then also the side quest, Fissure Filling quest, which will unlock the remaining 3 Xiragen Vents on the North Wuling. Now, once you've finished building the Jingyu Valley base, we have this space on the right. For this one, let's start building the Ferrium up here on the top. So first, you would want to place a depot bus port over here, and then a section next to it like this, and then place a depot unloader, output Ferrium, and then go take your refining unit, standard mode, place it over here, and then a shredding unit below it, like this, and then just connect. Copy that 3 times, and then over here on the bottom, place protocol stashes like this, leave space in the middle for a pylon, and then just connect. And then we're done with the Ferrium. Now that we are done with the Ferrium, over here on the bottom, we will build Sandleaf printers. So to do that, we just need a planting unit over here, facing to the right, standard mode, and then a seed picking unit over here, facing to the left, another planting unit over here, facing upwards, standard mode, be wary of the alignment, and then a protocol stash over here with the opening on the left, so it's facing to the right. Now just connect it, and then a pylon over here to power all of them. Now you can copy this and then paste it 2 times over there. Now let's place the sand leaf. There we go. Now we have completed the Jingyu Valley sub base. Let's move on to the main base. Now here at the main base, we are going to face the river, which is our water source, so it should be on the top of your screen. We will use the bridge as a reference starting point, and over here on the left, we're gonna put 8 fluid pumps. So let's place down 8 fluid pumps over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. Now for each pair, make sure to place down a conduit inlet, over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure the openings are on the top. And then for each one, place a pipe converter going into it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, for each inlet, place a conduit outlet like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now connect the fluid pumps onto the inlets. Make sure to do this once first, so it looks like this. There we go. And then that's 3 pairs. And that should be the last one. Then make sure to power with a Xiranite pylon over here, and over here, and over here. Now that we're done on the left side, over here on the right, we need to place down 3 fluid pumps. So 1, 2, and 3. But for this one, we only need 1 inlet. Put it in the middle over here, and then a converger. And then for these 2, they go into the inlet, and then 1 outlet for that one. Make sure to power with a pylon. And then now let's connect each inlet to an outlet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's go to the other side. And 5. There we go. That should be all the pairs of inlets and outlets ready for the factory. Now that we are done placing down the fluid pumps, let's place down the depot buses, starting here on the top left. First, place our depot bus port over here. Make sure you have 3 spaces above. And then take your depot bus section, place it like this. Let's place 7 of them going to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Make sure to rotate and then place another one going down 2 times. 1 and 2. Make sure the alignment is correct. And then rotate it again over here going to the right 2 times. So that's 2. And then going to the left all the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're done placing down the depot buses. Let's start with the Xircon factory along with the small Cuprium over here. But before we do that, let's go over here on the right first and place down a thermal bank so we don't lose power. So with that, place down a depot unloader first. Make sure to output SC batteries. There we go. And then place down 2 thermal banks, or maybe 3 depending on how much you need. Then place down a belt splitter over here facing to the right. Connect it. And we should be able to continue with the build now over here. Now with the Cuprium, let's start by placing down a depot unloader over here. Make sure to output Cuprium ore. Copy this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 4. And then take your refining unit, place down 2 of them like this. Another pair over here, the same orientation. And then take your pipe splitter facing downwards, place 1 over here, and over here. So 3 of them. Now your pipe converter facing downwards over here, and another one facing to the right over here. Now let's connect the belts like this. And then let's take one of the conduit outlets and place it above over here. Make sure from the outlet you connect the pipe going onto this refining unit, and then from this splitter connect it over here and then onto this one. Now for the sewage output, make sure to take this one, go down, click here onto the splitter. Now this refining unit goes to the splitter as well, but this one will be connected later directly to a expanded crucible. Now, over here, let's connect the belts down over here. And then let's place down a depot loader, 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. Now let's connect like this. And there we go. All we need to do now is to power with a pylon right over here. And we are done with the Cuprium. Now let's proceed with the expanded crucibles for the Xircon. Now, to begin with this, let's start by placing down a depot unloader over here with 1 space in between. And then, let's make sure to output Xiranite. Now, place your expanded crucible below it. Connect the Xiranite. And then, take a conduit outlet with the water and place it over here. And then connect it directly. Now from this refining unit, let's connect the sewage. And let's power with a pylon below here. Now, on the orange pipe, make sure to output inert Xircon effluent. And on the yellow pipe, make sure to output Xircon effluent. There we go. Now, let's copy this expanded crucible. And then make sure to have 3 spaces in between for each paste. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. There we go. Next, let's place down another depot unloader over here, and let's output Ferrium Powder. Now, copy this and bring it over here. Make sure that you have it like this. Next would be to place down a reactor crucible over here on the bottom. Make sure the alignment is like this and the opening is on the top. Do the same over here. Same alignment. And then your Ferrium powder should be able to go down straight. And then place down 2 water treatment units over here and over here. Connect the yellow pipe, and we will configure that later. But for now, make sure to place down a Xiranite pylon over here and over here. That should be good. Now, let's place a depot loader on the bottom over here and another one over here. Connect both. And then let's go up here. Place a purification unit, turn it to fluid mode, rotate once, and then a reactor crucible below over here. Make sure to align it properly, rotate once, so that the pipe can go straight like this. And then place your depot unloader again over here on the right, output Ferrium powder, and then connect it straight to this crucible. Then place a water treatment unit below here and connect the pipe like this. It should be powered by this pylon. And then a depot loader again over here to collect from this crucible. Now let's proceed with the pipes over here, starting with the water. For the water, let's start by placing down a pipe splitter over here facing downwards, then rotate it facing to the right, and then place it over here, and over here. Now, let's just connect all of them like this. 1, 2, and then 3. Now let's do the same for the sewage. Pipe splitter over here, facing to the right, over here as well, and over here. Then let's connect it. So over here, and over here. There we go. Now for the inert Xircon effluent, let's connect it like this first, going up there, all the way to the right over here to this purification unit. Make sure to click here so it turns on the right one. Now connect each orange pipe as like this, and then the next one, and then the last one. There we go. Then take a pipe converger facing to the right and then place it over here, and over here. Make sure you're able to get all of them going into the purification unit. Now for the Xircon effluent, the yellow pipe one, let's place down a pipe converger facing to the left over here and over here, above the reactor crucible on the bottom. Now connect each yellow pipe. This one as well. Do the same for these ones. And there we go. Now connect this converger to this reactor crucible. So something like this, and something like this. Now this reactor crucible should be outputting on the yellow pipe the sewage, and right here the Xircon. Do the same for this one, sewage, and then Xircon. Now for the sewage pipes, we can also do the same for the water. Let's place down a pipe control port over here. Choose water, turn on adjust flow, and then set to 30 units per minute. Now copy this and then paste it to each one. This is just for consistency, you don't really need it. Now for the sewage, let's do the same thing. This is gonna be 30 per minute as well. Turn on adjust flow, 30 per minute. Let's copy that and then paste it here and over here. Now that we are done with that, this should be working. Make sure to also output Xircon and then sewage on the yellow pipe. Now this purification unit will need to output water on the orange pipe. To do that, let's connect it like this up here, and then place down a fluid supply unit over here. And then it should be able to function normally, and you have this extra bit of Xircon for the batteries later. For now, let's build the Pyrrolite Gear over here. It's gonna be a very small one. So this one will be fast. We just need 2 depot unloaders over here, and then a gearing unit facing to the right, and place a depot loader over here. Connect both unloaders. Then make sure it's outputting heavy Xiranite and Pyrrolite Parts. Now once you have that, make sure to duplicate this, place it above here, place a converger over here, and then connect both. Then power with a pylon. Now let's build the batteries below here. Now this one should be easy. Let's place down a depot unloader here on the far left. Make sure it's outputting Originium. Then copy it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have 6 of them. This one, the third one, 1, 2, 3. Make sure to change it into Sandleaf. There we go. And then the 6th one, make sure to switch it to Xircon. There we go. Now copy the first 5 onto the right side. Then let's place 5 shredding units over here. Make sure it's off-centered by 1. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that's 5 shredding units. Copy that, leave 1 space, place it on the right. So the Xircon has a way to go through. Now take your grinding unit, offset by 1 again. Leave 2 spaces, leave 1 space, and offset by 2. There we go. Now we have this. There should be enough space for a pylon over here and over here. Now, place your packaging unit over here. And then a protocol stash right over here, facing upwards. Now let's connect all the belts. I will fast forward this one, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But do note that this shredding unit connects to both. And this one as well. Everything else just connects normally. There we go. Now we have the SE batteries being made. All we need to do now is to copy this onto the right side, right over here. Now you can see that it's being made, and this one should work as well. Now we can proceed to the last build of the main base here on the bottom. So to start here on the bottom, let's place down our depot bus port on the far right of the screen and make sure it's aligned so it won't go through the batteries. So over here is fine. And then with the remaining depot buses, let's just build all the way to the left. And there we go. Now to continue, let's take our remaining conduit outlets above here and place it right here. Take the other one and then place it right here. And of course the last one right here. And then place it over here. Now let's build the Cuprium right here. Now to begin, let's place down 2 depot unloaders over here, both outputting Cuprium ore. And then 2 refining units over here, placed like this. A protocol stash right here. Then 2 water treatment units facing upwards over here. Then let's connect the belts. After we connect the belts, let's place a pipe splitter right over here and over here, both facing downwards. And then a converger also facing downwards over here. Then let's connect the pipes like this. From this converger, make sure to click here and then over here, going to this splitter. From this splitter, going to this treatment unit. Then let's place a Xiranite pylon right over here. And then let's copy this one time over here next to it. Place another pipe splitter over here facing downwards. Take the conduit outlet and then place it here. Then connect like this. Connect this splitter to this one. And then let's copy this again. Paste it over here and over here. Now, over here, remove the last pair. Do not remove this pylon. Only remove 2. There we go. Now that we have removed that, we can also remove this pipe. Then let's connect the conduit outlet, this one, over here. And then this one over here. Make sure to move this outlet by 1 space above, and I'll tell you later why. Are now connected. And now everything here should be working. Now let's proceed with the one over here. For this, all you need to do is go up here on the batteries, copy half of it, up until only the sand leaf, then copy that, and then remove this, and that should be done, but you can move this so it looks better. And that's about it, since we only have that much originium. Now let's proceed with the Yazhen Syringe printer over here, as well as the Cuprium part printer. Now before we begin on this one, let's go up here first and make a Yazhen printer. First, let's place down a planting unit over here, facing to the left, and then a seed picking unit facing to the right. Place a shredding unit over here, facing downwards, and then a protocol stash right over here. Let's connect the belts. Make sure there's 2 belts coming from the shredding unit. Then power with a pylon over here. And then on this planting unit, make sure to place down Yazhen seed. If you don't have Yazhen seed, Yazhen plant on the seed picking unit. Then connect the fluid pump straight down. And there we go. It should be working now. Now let's actually build this part, but first let's rotate our screen. To begin with this one, we need to place down 3 deep on loaders. So 1 and then leave 1 space, 2 and then leave 2 spaces, and then 3. The first one will output Cuprium, as well as the third one. The middle one will output Yazhen Powder. And then, let's place a fitting unit over here, a reactor crucible over here, and then a molding unit over here. Make sure to switch it to standard mode. And then, let's take this pipe, the one I told you to move earlier, place a pipe splitter going upwards, and then connect it to the crucible over here. Let's continue. Let's place a filling unit over here aligned like this, and then a packaging unit over here facing downwards, a protocol stash also facing downwards, another one facing to the right, and another one facing to the left. Now place a belt splitter facing downwards over here, and then connect the fitting unit like this. Connect the belts, and then this molding unit goes straight into the protocol stash over here. Now this reactor crucible should be connected to the filling unit, and then the filling unit over here, and then the packaging unit, and then make sure to power with a pylon over here. Make sure to choose Yazhen Solutions on the yellow pipe. And then let's rotate our screen again and proceed over on the bottom left over here for the AIC. First, to begin, we need the Inergen over here on the left. So let's extract that one first. Let's place down gas extractors over here. There we go. And then let's place down pipe convergers facing upwards, and then also over here facing to the right. And then take a conduit inlet, connect all of them. There we go, into the inlet. And then place an outlet over here. And then let's connect them. There we go. Now let's build the Separator Core printer over here. Now for this one, you want to make sure that it's first placed over here on the bottom with 5 spaces below and 7 spaces on the left. Now, for the outputs, it's going to be Xiranite, Cuprium, also Cuprium here, and then Cuprium on these two, and then Xiranite on the bottom right. Now for the buildings, let's start placing a molding unit over here, facing upwards, and then a packaging unit also facing upwards over here. Now let's connect the belts like this. Now from the packaging unit, make sure it has 2 belts for the output, since you generate 2 separator cores each time. Now this conduit, place it here, and then a pipe splitter over here. Now let's copy this, and then paste it on the other side over here. Make sure to power with a pylon, and then connect the Inergen to both molding units. Now that we're done, it should be working. Let's now proceed to the sub AIC, which is the one for the Pyrrolite Parts. Now over here at Yinglung Pass, let's start by having 5 conduit outlets ready. The first one, we need 1 fluid pump, the second one, 1 acid pump. These ones are connected to 1 Inergen gas extractor each, and then the last one will be all 5 Xiragen Vents in North Wuling. So first, let's connect this one to the water. Over there, you can see it's only 1 fluid pump. And then this one is the acid, which is also just 1 pump. And then for these two, it's 1 Inergen each. So let's teleport here. There we go. and then drop down. You can see it's just one extractor. Connect this one as well. Then let's teleport again. And then connect it to this one. Now, let's proceed and get all the Xiragen Vents. Now to begin collecting all of the Xiragen Vents, let's start on the farthest side of the map, which is on the north over here. And then, let's connect it all the way to the left, going to the bottom over here. Now to begin, let's place an inlet over here. And then connect it. Take the inlet connection, and then teleport over here in the middle. Now, place an outlet over here, and then an inlet in front of it. Connect the connection to the outlet, connect them together, take the inlet connection again, and then teleport all the way over here. Now once you're over here, even if it's too far, it will still not lose the connection. Now go over here, place an outlet over here, an inlet over here, connect it to the outlet, place a pipe converger going into the inlet, connect all the pipes, going into the inlet. Now take the inlet again, then go down here, make another connection over here, outlet, and then inlet, connect it to the outlet, connect the pipe, take the inlet, then teleport to sentry base. Now once you're over here, place another outlet, and then another inlet, connect it, connect the pipe, and then take the inlet connection, then let's run all the way through the first gas vents. Now once you're over here on the last fart vents, place another outlet over here, an inlet over here, and then a pipe converger going into the inlet right over here. Connect it to the outlet, then connect all the pipes into the inlet, then take the inlet, and then teleport back to the base. Now connect it to this outlet. And now we are done with the outlets. We can now proceed with the build. Now that we have all the conduits ready, let's start building the base. First, make sure that you're facing this direction. Let's go top down and go on the top right over here. To begin, let's place a depot bus port over here with 4 spaces in here, and then take a depot bus section going downwards, 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now going to the left, 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. Now let's start building the Hetonite Gas. Now to begin, let's first take our conduit outlet with the Xiragen over here and place a depot unloader over here. Make sure it outputs Cuprium. Copy this next to itself. Then take a solid gas transmuting unit, place it over here, connect both unloaders. Make sure there's at least 2 spaces here, and then once you've connected it, copy this part, paste it here, over here, and over here. Make sure to align it. As you can see, there's 2 spaces in between each time. And now, let's place a pylon over here and over here. Now, for this part, we need a converger facing to the right here and over here. Now, place another unloader right here output separator core. This one. Copy it next to itself again. Then let's take a purification unit, place it over here with only one space, rotate once, place a gas dispersing unit over here, make sure the opening is on the bottom, and then a purification unit, again, rotate once, over here. Now let's connect it. This one goes here, the second one goes to the converger, the third one goes to this one, and this one should automatically connect with the converger. Now on the bottom here, let's place another pipe converger facing to the left, over here, below this purification unit. Then let's connect this one. And then let's connect the separator core belts over here, and the one over here goes here. Make sure to click, and then click here, and then into here. Now take one Inergen conduit, place it over here, make sure it's aligned here, and then go straight, going into the gas dispersing unit. Now it should look like this. Let's proceed with the Xiragen printers over here on the bottom. Now, for the Xiragen printers, we need to place a depot unloader over here. Make sure to not place it under this pipe. And then, place Xiranite as the output. Copy it next to itself. Take a solid to gas transmuting unit, rotate once. The opening for the Xiragen is on the right. And make sure there's two spaces here. Now, the same orientation over here, rotate once. This time, 3 spaces in between. Now, place a pipe converger facing to the left over here. Connect both. And then, for the belts, connect this one straight. The second one, click here first. Make sure to have one space in here. And then, put it all the way here, going into the solid gas. Now, let's copy this, and then paste it over here, and over here. Now, place a pylon over here, and over here in the bottom to power everything. For this third one, make sure to remove this belt, and then place it farther down by 1. There is now 2 spaces over here. You will know later why. For now, let's move on to Pyrrolite Gas. Now, for the Pyrrolite Gas, let's start here near the top of our build. Let's place down a gas reactor globe over here, below the pipes, aligned like this. Make sure to rotate twice, so that the output is on the left, and then the input is on the right. Paste it there, 3 spaces below, another one, with 3 spaces in between. For a gas dispersing unit over here, with the opening on the left. Now, from our purification units over here, this converter pipe will go into here, and then from the middle here, goes into the one on the bottom. Now, let's take a pipe splitter, facing to the left, and place it over here. Place another one over here, but now facing to the top. Now from this Xiragen printer, on this converger, connect this to the splitter. Then the splitter goes in here and onto the top over here. And then we are done for the Pyrrolite Gas. Let's proceed with the heavy Xiragen. Now for the heavy Xiragen over here, let's start by placing down a purification 1 space below the gas reactor globe. Rotate twice so that the outputs are on the left, and then have 3 spaces in between for the next one, so that we can fit a gas dispersing unit over here, with the opening on the left. Now take your AIC and then paste it over here. Make sure you're outputting separator core on this one, as well as on the right one. Now, from here, connect this, and then here to here. Make sure to click here to go here. There we go. Now, let's connect the pipes from the Xiragen. So from this converger, this goes here, and then this converter goes here. Now, place a Xiranite pylon in the middle over here to power all the buildings in this area. Now, let's place the last set of buildings to make our gases into solids. Now for the next part over here, we need to place down a solid to gas transmuting unit over here. Make sure there's 2 spaces away from the right building and it's aligned. Then turn it to solidify mode and make sure that the inputs are on the right, like this. So place it down, another one here, make sure it's aligned on the one on the right, another one here, and another one here. Now, there should be 2 spaces here, and if you did it correctly, you should be able to connect the pipes straight through. Like this. Next, on the third one from the bottom, make sure to place a protocol stash over here with the opening below it, and place a belt converter going into it. Connect the bottom 2 over here, and that should be good to go. Now, we need to place a Xiranite pylon over here to power all the buildings. Now, take this Inergen conduit, make sure it's aligned here, all the way here. Make sure to place it here. And then, make sure it goes into this gas dispersing unit. Now, for the next part, we will build the acid first before we proceed with the pyrrolite parts. So let's start here. For this one, let's first place the water conduit up here. Make sure it's facing upwards. And then the acid outlet down here, make sure it's facing downwards. And then place a reactor crucible over here, rotate once. And then place a depot unloader over here. Make sure it's outputting Xiranite. There we go. And then connect it. Connect the water. And then make sure to have a fluid to gas transmuting unit over here with only 1 space. And then connect the pipe directly. Then place a pylon over here on the right so it starts making the fluid. Have Xiranite fluid output on the orange pipe. And then on this pipe going into the Xiragen, or rather the liquid Xiranite intake, place a pipe control port and choose liquid Xiranite and turn on adjust flow. There we go. And then place the acid going into the fluid gas over here. And then make sure to connect this one all the way to this gas dispersing unit. And then place a pipe control port here as well for acid gas. Turn on adjust flow 6 units per minute. Now for this one, let's put another pipe control port. 6 units per minute as well. An Inergen. And then this one should also have one. Inergen and 6 units per minute. There we go. Now, to begin with the pyrrolite parts over here, all we need to do is to place a fitting unit, which is over here. Rotate once, and then place it over here. Put a stash below it, facing the opposite direction. And then place another fitting unit over here, facing to the left with 2 spaces here for a Xiranite pylon. And then let's connect this over here, and then here. Connect this one over here, and the fitting unit to here. Now, all that's left to do is to connect this Xiragen to every single one facility. And we're also going to build a small Xiranite printer over here with the extra Xiragen. But for now, let's start over here. Now, this should be satisfying. All you need to do is to connect the pipe of this all the way over here. Go down all the way over here. And then make sure to click over here. Go all the way to the left over here, and then click again. Go all the way to the top onto this solid gas transmuting unit. And then what you need to do is to place a pipe splitter over here which is over here. Make sure it's facing to the right. And then place a pipe going into this. And then a control port. Make sure to configure it into Xiragen. And turn on adjust flow to 6 units per minute. Now copy that. Paste it over here. Over here. Rotate once. And then place it over here. Onto the Xiragens. Over here. Over here. And over here. Now, make sure to remove. And then, from this part of the build, make sure to have this. Click here. Go up to here. And then make sure to connect it here. And then put a pipe splitter over here facing to the left. And then another pipe splitter over here facing upwards. And then connect it here. And then make sure to do the same thing. Pipe control port over here. Xiragen. 6 units per minute. Over here as well, another one. Make sure to place 6 units per minute as well. And then over here on the right, make sure to place a pipe splitter again, facing to the left. Connect here. And then over here as well, but this time facing upwards. And then also here. Connect it. Now, make sure to copy the Xiragen control port and then place it onto the pipes over here, and over here, and lastly, this one. Now, all that's left is the last little build on the bottom corner here. Also, sorry, before we proceed here, I double checked, I made a mistake. Make sure that the ones you placed are not misaligned like the one I did here. So just move it here, and then connect. This one as well, remove this, and then move this. Make sure it's all aligned before we proceed. So this one should be removed over here. And then select this again, move it here, connect. Double check everything else, make sure it's connected. This here, this here. This one is over here, this one over here, over here, over here. This one is good, this one is also good. Alright, now for the last part here on the bottom. All you need to do is to place a pipe splitter somewhere around here, facing to the left. For me, just place it down here. And then make sure it goes down onto a splitter. Make sure it's facing downwards. And then place a solid to gas over here. Make sure to turn it into solidify mode. And then connect the splitters. And then copy the pipe control ports. And then place it over here. Make sure to rotate so it's correct. And now, make sure to place a Xiranite pylon over here so it works. And then connect this to the AIC. And now we are finally done. That is the end of the build. Now that we are done building the base, here are the list of blueprints. And then here are layouts that I drew to help you if you want to paste it quick on your own. And then, next, I will show you how I saved it, starting with the main base, with the Jingyu Valley, and then on here in the Yinglung Pass, so that you can see how to paste it and how to save it if you're trying to help me provide blueprints for NA and EU. And thank you in advance if you are. Now, without further ado, let's go to the main base. Now, here at the main base, just in case that you skipped or forgot, we've put 8 fluid pumps on the left of the bridge over here, each pair going into one inlet, connected to an outlet. And then on the right over here, we have 3 fluid pumps, 2 of which going into one conduit inlet, and then 1 here going to a planting unit, and then a fluid supply unit for the purification unit. Now, on saving the blueprints, I will show you how to save it if either you're helping me or just in case you want to know how to paste it easier. So the first one would be the Xircon one, which is here. Make sure to copy up until this depot bus from the corner over here. And then I will include this depot bus, and then it's cut over here. So I will save it as Xircon 1. I will change the color to orange. And there we go. Now for the next one, I will start over here since we've stopped here. So let's do that. Starting from this depot bus, we will go up over here up until we get all of this. Make sure to include these depot bus as well. And then nothing outside of here. And then make sure to deselect this one. So it should look like this. Now save it. And then place Xircon 2. And if you're pasting this, this is Xircon 2. There we go. Now, here on the right, since we've already included all the depot buses, this should be easy. You just copy all of this, or rather paste all of this in the corner, and it's gonna be called Yazhen and Gear. I'm gonna change the picture to the Pyrrolite Gear so it's easier to know. And there we go. Now that we have that, the bottom here is easy. Oh, by the way, earlier I forgot to only copy. I moved this, so I'll just edit that in post. So over here, copy this, and it's just gonna be called SE batteries, or SE bats is more than enough. Do this, and then orange as well. And then if you're pasting this blueprint, just paste it twice, one over here and one over here. Okay? Make sure, wait, let me double check if I did it correctly. And yes, we have it complete with the belts. Okay. And then over here we have the Cupriums. Let's copy this like this up until this depot bus. Save it as Cuprium Printer. And then make sure to switch again to orange. There we go. So if you're pasting this, since we included up until here, the next one should be here. So I'm gonna copy this whole part over here. And then make sure to save it as Cuprium and half bat. So since we're producing Yazhen Syringe, we're gonna choose Yazhen Syringe. Yazhen Sir and bats. Yaj and bats. There we go. And then save that. So now when you're pasting this, it should be easy since you saw how I saved it. And then the next one should be on the bottom here. Well, this is easy. You just copy paste it and then, you know, separator core. Sepa AIC. And then orange as well. And then that should be it for the main base. Now over here in Jingyu Valley, if you're going to save this blueprint or help me paste it, the video for the left side here is on another video. I'm gonna put the link in the comment or the description probably, but I will still show you how to save it. So over here, you just select all of this and then deselect this one, save it, choose this icon, and then orange, name it 12 Xiragen Gas. save it. And then the left side, or rather the right side, copy from top to bottom. And then save it. And then name it Ferrium Powder. Powder. And Sandleaf. Just sand. And then orange. And there we go. Now on to the next sub base. Now over here in Yinglung Pass, before you paste anything, make sure you have 5 conduits ready to replace these ones. So the first one, you need 1 fluid pump of water. This one is 1 acid pump. And then the Inergen over here is 1 gas extractor only. And this one is also just 1 gas extractor. Now, this Xiragen is the combined Xiragen Vents from all 5 locations on the North Yinglung Pass. So make sure you have all of those before pasting. Now, when it comes to pasting and saving, the way I saved this one is to start over here, aligned on this line, and then do it all the way above here. So it's like this. It's the top half. And now I will use this icon and then name it Yinglung Top. There we go. Now do the opposite for the bottom half, which is this part. And then make sure to not select this depot bus, since we already included that on the last one. Now also deselect this one because you cannot save it. And then choose this icon again and then name it Yinglung Bot. There we go. Now here we are at the end of the video, and if you're still here, thank you very much. Your support is always well appreciated by me, and it's the only reason I actually keep making these videos. And as you can see, yes, we have an empty sub base over here. You can do whatever you want with it. Don't mind this creation. So anyways, thank you for watching this, and if you did try or is trying to help me with the blueprints, thank you very much in advance again. And I hope these builds were able to help you, and if there are any problems with the builds or you have some suggestions, be sure to, comment them down, and I'll be sure to check the issue and respond in the comments with a fix if there are any. But for now, I've been recording for like a whole day and I've been preparing this for like a whole week, and I have a lot of things I need to do. So that will be all for now. Goodbye. If you find that helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.